Hari Om. Good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's pray together and invoke the Lord's blessings. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, together with Shraddha, Bhakti and Prapatti, we offer our Sastanga Pranams to you to seek your grace, your mercy, your blessings, your love, your strength, your forgiveness. Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya. O Lord, please bestow upon us all these divine qualities, only and only to understand thy true nature. Our humble salutations to the Guru Parampara, filled with gratitude. Om Tat Sat. Today we are on our Divine Discourse number 261, Tatva Bodha, Talk 19, the 29th of January 2022. Plavanama Samvatsara Uttarayan Hemanta Rutu Pushyamas Krishna Paksh Dwadashi Mula Nakshatra Vyasagata Yoge Taitulakarane. On this auspicious day of Saturday, and the auspicious time of the evening, we take a firm resolve in our life. As a true sadhak, every situation, every circumstance, every incident, through any person, object, place, all that is only at the behest of the Divine Lord, only and only to lift me from this ocean of births and deaths. No person is good, nor any person is evil towards us. It's the God's Leela. We have to understand this at great depth and imbibe that vairagya from all these untoward situations and focus your complete attention towards reaching the Almighty. Om Tat Sat. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you. So generally, regarding Tatva Bodha, I have been getting a feedback that these technical terms, whatever we are listening to, the Stula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, all that is fine. But when it came to the Panchabhutas, the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas aspect of Panchabhutas, and then the combination of how the whole Brahmanda was created. So they said it's a little tough and it was beyond our understanding. Now for that, what I would suggest is, don't think too much about it. In any which case, we are not going to construct a Brahmand or a universe. So let's chill about it. I'll tell you a small story for this. Once, Brahmarishi Naradji was trotting on Earth, planet Earth. So there he goes to a village, and see, he is like, he can enter anywhere and everybody knows him. He is not only a public figure of one particular place or nation, he is the public figure of the entire Brahmanda. He goes to any devatas, any asuras, everybody greets him with respect. So he goes that way to enters a house. It was the house of a Brahmin who was studying the scriptures, the Vedas, the Upanishads at great depth. He had almost known most of the Upanishads and the Vedas by heart. So that was his proficiency. So he goes there, and no sooner that Panditji he sees Brahmarishi Naradji, so he falls at his feet. He then welcomes him wholeheartedly, asks him please be seated. He does his Pada Puja, he does his Arati, and he does all what needs to be done to a revered sage. Now, Naradji being very much pleased with his Atithya, he asks him, do you want me to do anything for you? So the Panditji says, Naradji, you keep visiting the Vaikuntha Loka, so why don't you ask Bhagavan Vishnu, when will I get moksha? That's all what I wanted to know. Naradji says, it's a small thing, don't worry. I keep going any which ways now and then, so I'll inquire and let you know. So rest of the things, everything concluded well, and he departs from there. Now next he goes on trotting, and in another village he comes across the hut of a cobbler, a small hut, an illiterate cobbler who was stitching some footwear outside his small hut. He moves towards him. Now, on seeing Naradji, he again was very thrilled. extremely excited. He says, Aye, aye, Naradji, aye, aye. And he takes him inside his hut. Small hut. And he does all what he could do to show his reverence and obeisance. Then Naradji asks him the same question. Do you want me to do anything for you? Then this cobbler, coincidentally, he asks the same question. You will be visiting Narayana, Lord Vishnu at Vaikuntha. Why don't you ask him, when will I get moksha? See, this moksha, for the people who are aware of this, everybody wants only this. They don't want anything else. So Naradji said, fine, nothing to worry. Like as we say, no, ho jayega. That kind, ho jayega. Aapka kaam ho jayega. And he departs from there. And then he goes to Vaikuntha Loka. Lord Narayana is there. He sees Naradji and is pleased. He says, oh, he asks him, where are you coming from? He says, I was trotting planet Earth. Then Vishnuji asks him, what did you, anything interesting over there? He says, like this, I went to a Panditji's house, a proficient scholar. He wanted to know when he will get moksha. And then again to a cobbler, and he also asked the same question. So he tells Naradji, when next time when you go, you tell them, both of them will ask you one question. What was Narayana doing when you met him in Vaikuntha? Okay. They will ask you this question. So for that, what you need to say is, Narayana was passing an elephant through the eye of a needle. That is what he was doing. This is what you need to tell them. And you tell the proficient scholar that as far as his moksha is concerned, in his courtyard, the number of trees he has grown, let him count the number of leaves of all the trees, so that many lives he has to take rebirth. And when it comes to the cobbler, you tell him that you will get moksha this life. Naradji was astonished. He said, what is this? Where is this Pandit who is learnt all the scriptures, all the Upanishads by heart, and where is that cobbler who doesn't know anything? He says, I've told you, they'll ask you the question, you give them the answer, and you will come to know why I'm saying this. Oh, okay, interesting. So Naradji couldn't wait for this suspense. He says, oh, this is very intriguing. I can't wait for long. Let me go back again. So he goes back and again appears before the scholar. Scholar was too happy. He said, I didn't expect that I'm going to get a reply so soon. Again welcomes him, does all the atithya, and then he, out of inquisitiveness, he said, Naradji, had you been to Vaikuntha? He didn't ask him straight, did you get a reply from me? No. He asks him, he tries to build up. He's a scholar, intelligent person. Did you go to Vaikuntha? He says, yes, I did. I'm coming from there only directly to your place. What was Narayana doing, Lord Vishnu, when you saw him? He was a little busy. He was trying to pass an elephant through the eye of a needle. And the moment the scholar heard this, he says, what? Passing an elephant through the eye of a needle? Arey Naradji, what are you saying? See, I too have some sense up here. How can somebody pass an elephant through the eye of a needle? By any logic, I don't see this. Then Naradji gets his answer. Then the next question by the Panditji was, when will I get moksha? He replies, he says, count the number of leaves in all the trees of your courtyard. That many lives you will have to be born again, and then after that you get moksha. Okay. Now, this answer didn't please the Panditji, but Naradji made a sudden exit from there. after giving him the answer. Now he goes to the cobbler. The cobbler in his routine, doing his routine chores, stitching some footwear, and he welcomes him. And as Lord Narayana had told, he also asked the same question: what was Lord Narayana doing when you saw him in Vaikuntha? And Naradji said, he was passing an elephant through the eye of a needle. The moment this cobbler heard this, he started jumping in joy. Jai ho, Jai ho, Jai ho. What is the glory of my Lord? Amazing. Vitthala, Vitthala, Jai Jai Vitthala, Panduranga, Vitthala, Vitthala. He is jumping in joy. Naradji asked him, Hare, what are you saying? How can somebody pass an elephant through the eye of a needle? How can it be done? He says, I am an illiterate. Naradji, I don't know anything. But this much I can understand: when Lord Narayana can bring out a huge banyan tree from such a small seed which is sown in the ground, what is the big deal for him to pass an elephant through the eye of the needle? And Naradji was stunned at this. He was all in tears, with so much of joy, overfilled with joy, when he heard the glory of Lord Narayana. So, he next asks him, when will you get moksha? Naradji said, you will get moksha in this life itself. So what we need to understand from this story is, don't get disheartened when you don't understand these technicalities. Just appreciate the Lord. Build up that bhakti in you. Build up that shraddha in you. Build up that surrender in you. That is what is required. Not this panditya. Panditya, we leave it to somebody. We are not here to become scholars or get some degrees or name and fame. No. Our only and only wish is to reach the feet of the Lord. For that, what we need is to understand His glory. That's all. So when we speak about this, the more you don't understand, which means the more is His glory. Just go by this. Okay. So now anything you don't understand, understand His glory. That's all behind the aspect. Now we move forward. So here, having said this, of course, now we are at a very important junction here, which I would request all of you. Now this is, like you are understanding the crux of the Vedanta, complete crux of the Vedanta in today's class. So you have to pay your 100% attention. Don't draw your mind here and there. The moment you draw your mind here and there, what will happen is you will miss a link and you will not be able to understand what we are talking. Now why am I saying this? Earlier I said because we are not constructing a Brahmanda. So we don't need that knowledge. But here this is showing the oneness of the Jiva with Parameshwara and the Brahman. So many things. Atma Jnana, what we call. Today we are going to talk of that hardcore Atma Jnana. So for that hardcore Atma Jnana, if you have to receive it, you have to pay attention. And I'm sure that you all may understand 30%, 40, 50, 60, some may understand 70, some may even understand completely. It depends on how much is your understanding capacity and the Chitta Shuddhi, what you have gained in your mind. So if you have not understood for the first time, please once again listen to it. Second time, third time, this particular aspect I would suggest that don't ignore. This is very much required. But what you have learnt earlier which was not understood, don't worry about that. So I raise a red flag here and we move forward with this. Okay. Now, after having studied the Panchabhutas, now if you, let's say from where we started our journey, what is Tatva Bodha? After doing Tatva Viveka, meaning the discrimination between the discrimination between the Atman and Brahman, that is, once you understand the discrimination, the identity between the Atman and the Brahman, that is pure Tatva Bodha. So to see oneness between the Jiva and the Eshwara is Tatva Bodha. So here we have Jiva, we have Eshwara, and we have Brahman. Now many things will be revealing to you now, because we have just come by default by conditioning of the society, by the family, and by the surroundings. Whatever we understand about God, we know about it. But this is the hardcore Atma Jnana given by none other than Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya. Okay, so one cannot do Tatva Bodha unless and until the Tatva Viveka is done to the fullest. So what is the recap of Tatva Viveka? First is Atma and Anatma, we understood the difference. This is the first stage we learnt. Now second stage was to differentiate that Brahman from that which is not Brahman. You understanding? Atman and Anatman, what was the difference? Anatman is all that which is your body, your mind, the senses, Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira, your waking state, your dream state, your deep sleep state, this is all Anatman. And what is Atman? Satchidananda Swarupa was Atman. So this is the first thing what we learnt. Now second what we are saying is differentiate between the Brahman and that which is not Brahman. What is that which is not Brahman? Maya. Maya is not per se Brahman, it is the strength of Brahman. It is the effect of Brahman. Second one is the Samashti Sukshma Sharira, which he has created through Lord Eshwara. He has created the Samashti Sukshma. Vyashti Sukshma is our mind, senses, pranas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. These are all Vyashti, individual Sukshma. Samashti, the combined effect of all the minds, all the pranas, all the panchakoshas, all the intelligence, all the memory, all the ahankara is Samashti Sukshma. And then the Samashti Sthula, which is the all the bodies of the entire creation, right from an amoeba to a human being. So these three come under what is not Brahman. So Brahman is the nature of pure Sat, Chit and Ananda. Now third thing was saying Atman and Brahman is one and the same. Brahmatmaikya. That's what we learnt in the last class. Okay. So till here we have an understanding. So now Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he takes us through that essential oneness. He is now going to tell us how you as a Jiva is Eshwara and how you as a Jiva and Eshwara are none other than that Parabrahma. This is mind-boggling actually. How can it be possible? But he is going to tell us. And then he will decode it slowly and make us understand. So for that reason I said, step by step we have to move over here. We can't 2 minutes you think of something else, you go into the world, and then again you come back, you would have missed something, you will not get the hang of it. So we start. So here it starts with a shloka. What I'll do is, I'll read the shloka, I'll give you the what I'll do is, after reading the shloka, I'll prepare you to understand the shloka. That is better. Let me not get into the depth of the shloka. So we'll understand, I'll prepare you with some kind of a preface, and then we'll go to the word by word meaning of the shloka and try to understand it. Okay, let's read the shloka. I'll just display it on the screen for you. स्थूल शरीराभिमानी जीवनामकं ब्रह्म प्रतिबिंबं भवति स एव जीवः प्रकृत्या स्वस्मातीश्वरं भिन्नत्वेन जानाति अविद्योपाधिः सन् आत्मा जीव इत्युच्यते मायोपाधिः सन् ईश्वरः इत्युच्यते एवं उपाधिभेदात् जीवेश्वर भेद दृष्टिः यावत्पर्यन्तं तिष्ठति तावत्पर्यन्तं जन्म मरणादि रूप संसारो न निवर्तते तस्मात् कारणात् न जीवेश्वरयो भेद बुद्धिः स्वीकार्या. Okay, so now let's go slowly. There's no hurry here, because you have to get each and every step. So now this shloka talks about what is this individual. Now who is an individual? You are an individual, I am an individual, the Jiva. Now what is that this individual has identified with? So the whole problem we are facing is, we have identified with something wrong. So who is this individual and with what it has identified? That is what we have to understand now. So we're talking of consciousness, and we are talking of that Atman being consciousness. Atman means Atma, which is there within me, Atma within you. Within everybody there is Atma, so that is consciousness. So we are also going to talk about this Brahman, who is again consciousness. And who does the identification, which means who does the mistake? How if this was something else is now appearing to be something else? So now this is the question. See, because we should first understand what is the problem, then only we'll be able to understand the solution. So here what has happened, this Jiva, me, you, every human has identified wrongly with something in life. So to identify wrongly means you should be under the power of ignorance. Then only you identify wrongly, isn't it? Unless and until you are not ignorant of something, how can you identify wrongly? So taking oneself to be the body, that is the Sthula Sharira, the Sukshma Sharira, which is the mind, intellect, pranas, panchakoshas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, the panchakoshas, all this, we have taken ourselves to be all this. And since we have taken ourselves or oneself to be these particular things in life, now ask yourself a question. When I say, what are you, who are you, what do you say? The first thing which comes to you is your body. Yes, this is me, this is me, this is me. My mind, this is me. My prana, this is me. And then, okay, extended, you have your family. But when you ask who are you, meaning these are what which come to you. And how has this come to you? Because you are ignorant. Now eventually we are going to learn how the ignorance came and what correction has to be done. Like as you have a mobile phone, there are certain default settings. The caller tune, the volume, the brightness, so many things they are under default setting. You did nothing to it. The moment it came, all these came by default. In the same way, as you were born, all this ignorance has come by default. Now then, when you get this knowledge, is like somebody tells you that you go to this particular settings and this sounds, and there you, for ringtone, you can change the default setting. So you got the knowledge. So then you changed it. And you start changing whenever you want. Because you have the knowledge. In the same way here, what is being told is how to change the default setting. And this comes to those rare few which I told you. Okay. Now, does this Jivatma become ignorant? Because we say Atma is pure consciousness. Then how did this Atma become ignorant? This question naturally comes to our mind. So when you say I identify, I am Satchidananda, pure consciousness, which I am other than the Stula, Sukshma, Karana, Sharira, the Panchakoshas, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Other than these three, I am the nature of the pure Satchidananda Paramatma. So, by this logic, how did I do this mistake? I can't do this mistake. So, we have seen this Atma, pure consciousness, which was of this nature, made this mistake. So who is making this mistake? Although we are again and again we are trying to understand. On one hand you said this Atma is of this nature, and you are again saying that this Atma out of ignorance made this mistake. Then who made this mistake? This is the question in front of us for the day. Moving forward. Atman is the Jivatma. When we say Atman, Atma is the Jiva. Plus Atma, Jivatma. And what is our capacity? We are Maya Dasa. Maya Dasa means we are under the spell of Maya. Brahman, Paramatma, is the Eshwara. See, now different names are coming. One is Jivatma. Now what comes is Eshwara, who is the Maya Pati. In our case, we are the Dasa of Maya, whereas Eshwara is the controller of Maya. So hence he is called as Mayapati, the powerful creator. Akilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka. He has created the entire universe. Eshwara. He is still under Maya. We are also under Maya. He is also under Maya, but he is the Mayapati, and we as a Jivatma are Maya Dasa. Okay? Now, in this body, be it of Jiva or be it of Eshwara, both are in Vyakta. Vyakta means gross. Be it Vyashti, Jiva, Samasti, Eshwara. I think these terms you remember. Okay. But there is one more person over here. One more superpower. Who is Avyakta. Who is not to be, not gross. It is a power. Like gravity. Can you see the gravitational pull of the earth? You can't see it. It is Avyakta. That is the power of Satchidananda. Can you see Maya? No. It is again Avyakta. How is Maya seen? When it becomes Vyakta in the form of the entire creation. Satchidananda is Avyakta. So on one hand we got Jiva, Jivatma, which is Vyashti, individual. Then the second level we got Samasti, which is totality, which is Eshwara. And the third level, we got Satchidananda, who is Parabrahma, or also known as Brahman consciousness, who is Avyakta. Now, to get an understanding of the oneness, Bhagavan Shankaracharya has used a beautiful metaphor, a very simple metaphor. Now, this is what we need to understand. If we are able to get the knowledge through this metaphor, then everything else in the entire study of Vedanta is a cakewalk. How much ever you want to listen to this, you listen and get the grasp of it subconsciously, not consciously. Even in a dream, you should be able to answer this. That kind of expertise I'm saying one should have. Okay. Now we'll talk at the individual level. Vyashti, Jivatma. Okay. Let's say you bought a bucket of water from a large lake or an ocean. Okay, Sarovar, ocean. You got a bucket of water. Now, there are four things in front of you. One is you have the sun which is shining up there in the sky. Second is you have a bucket. Third, you have water in the bucket. Fourth, you have a reflection of the sun which is high up in the sky, a reflection of that sun in this bucket of water. Very simple. Sun up in the sky, shining bright. Second, a bucket. Third, water in the bucket. Fourth, reflection of the sun in the water which is in the bucket. Next step. Sun, now this is a metaphor I told you. So what is the relation now? How do we understand this example? Sun is compared to the Parabrahman, the pure consciousness. The bucket is compared to the Stula Sharira, which means your gross body. Now you know what is a gross body. Your Stula Sharira, all flesh, bone, blood. All these are Stula Sharira. Water, which is in the bucket, is the Sukshma Sharira, and you can also include Karana Sharira in that. What comes in a Sukshma Sharira? Your pranas, mind, intellect, memory, ahankara. These four are there. And the Panchendriya, Panchagnanendriya and Panchakarmendriya. These are all coming under the Sukshma Sharira. So now this denotes water. So from all this you only take the important aspect, which is the mind. Okay, mind, ahankara. That is what you need to understand, what is meant by water. Now, the next one is the reflection of the sun which is high up in the sky. Now that is reflected on this water. And you see a small sun on this reflected water. Okay, this reflection denotes the Jiva, that I say, I am doing this, I am breathing, I am eating, I am sleeping, I am getting up, I am doing, I am walking, I am running, I am exercising. All this I which comes is from this Jiva Bhava, which is none other than the reflection of that sun on this water, which is in the bucket. Ahankara is born by the reflection in the water, which is the Sukshma Sharira. And this Sukshma Sharira is in the Stula Sharira, which is in the bucket. So now whenever this water is shaking, You say my mind is agitated, because whenever the mind is agitated, you feel that mind is not stable. So in the same way, water is also shaking, meaning mind is agitated. And when is the death for this jiva? You say when the bucket is broken, because when the first thing what dies is the stula sharira. So when the bucket is broken, the body is dead, no more. So here, having understood this carefully, these four aspects, because as I told you, this gives you the complete Atma Jnana by this. We don't know what we are. Please remove all your earlier conditioning. This is that pure Atma Jnana in the truest sense. The sun, which is Parabrahma, pure consciousness, high up in the sky, shining. The bucket, which denotes your Stula Sharira. The water, which is your mind, Ahankara. Reflection is that Jiva Bhava. That Jiva Bhava, it's nothing that reflection of the sun on the surface of the water. Now, am I the Jivatma? In truth, let's go by truth. Am I the Jivatma? Now, what is my understanding? My understanding of Jivatma is I am this body, I am this mind, I am this senses, because I am merely enjoying with everything, isn't it? I make use of my sense organs, I make use of my organs of action, I make use of my prana, I make use of this body. I am in total unification of all this conglomerate, Stula Sukshma Sharira, and this is what I know. But am I the Jivatma in truth? Am I the reflection in truth? Now just understand that. The reflection exists because of the sun. Is this clear? Now when you ask both these questions, am I the Jivatma or am I the reflection? Now you know that the reflection exists only because of the sun up there. No sun, no reflection. This much we understand. Unless and until there is a sun up there, you will not have a reflection over here. So, in truth, I am not this reflection. I am that pure consciousness, the sun. Look up there, you are that. How can you be a reflection? I appear because of the water as a reflection. I just appear. It's an appearance. What is there truth in this? Reflection is an appearance, we all know. It is not a fact. It does not have any independent existence. Like, say for example, there is a temple, and next to the temple there is a river, and a fine broad river. Now the shadow of the temple, Gopuram, is falling on the river, and there are some tall trees around the temple. All the shadow of the tall trees are falling on the river water. Now, what is the existence which is true over here? The shadow of the temple Gopuram and the trees, or actually the temple Gopuram and the trees? You will say the Gopuram. This is just an appearance. What is reflected on the surface of the water of the river is an appearance. So, reflection is an appearance. What is independent? The pure consciousness, the sun, is independent. Now, rework on your mind. Which means, I who is getting this feeling of that Jivatva in me, that consciousness in me, that awareness in me, is this true, or is the consciousness Parabrahma, who, because of whom this reflection is happening over here. Is that true? Isn't it simple? So this reflection happens to be an illusion. It's there for some time. Till the sun is there, the reflection is there. The moment the sun is not there, the reflection in this Jiva is not there. So till the consciousness is there, you are functioning. But the moment the pure consciousness moves away, this Jiva is dead. So this I, that Jiva Bhava in me, is only happening because I have a mind, which is the water, and because there is a sun up there, it gets reflected here, and I consider everything to be, I am doing all this. I have forgotten the sun. But in truth, that real I is that Paramatma, that consciousness, the sun, without which this reflection would not have happened. That is reality. That is the Tatwa. Now, how things have gone wrong, we will understand that later. But now, till now, it is because, many a times we feel, when all along we have heard God is here, we have heard God is in us. Everywhere we have learnt God is within us. But understand, it is not that Lord who is within us, it is the reflection of Him in us. And where is the reflection happening? It is happening because we have a mind. In other, that is known as sentiency. In other Jada Vastu, like the stone, the mud, the tree, in all these, the reflection doesn't happen because they don't have a mind. So mind is the reflection media. Wherever there is a mind, there is the reflection of that consciousness, Paramatma. And that is the reason we humans who have that mind of that highest stature, with that intellectual capacity, we are the only ones truly blessed to cross over the Maya, the force of Maya, which we are now on the path. We have already kept our foot on the escalator. It's taking some time. We have to reach the top, that's all. Understand this properly. So I, Stula Sharira, as a body, I have a mind within. I also have awareness within me. And because of that awareness, I thought I am this body, I am this mind, I am this senses, and I interact with the world with all the sense objects. I think it was me. But understand, all this is a mere reflection, a mere appearance of the sun which is high up there. You are not this I. Aham bhava, what you have, that is because of this Maya. You are not this. You are that sun. Originally you are that sun, not this reflection. The reflection on the bank on the river water of the Gopuram is false. The Gopuram is true. In the same way, the Paramatma is true. The reflection of the Paramatma in me is an appearance which is for some time being. And I as a fool have considered myself to be this awareness, to be this body, to be these senses, and I have completely wound myself in the Jiva Bhava. Now, after having done Vyashti at the individual level, now we come to Samashti. Samashti is the totality of creation. which is Eshwara. Vyashti, Jiva. Samashti, Eshwara. Now we move forward on that. Okay. Take the same example. Sun. Now instead of bucket was that small bucket of water which you bought from the ocean. Now here, Samashti. So you are taking the entire ocean. From where you picked up this bucket of water, which is Jiva, now this entire ocean of water. Now here it is, we are talking with respect to the volume of water, the property. So in terms of a bucket, it's very meager. In terms of the same water, in terms of its size and volume, ocean is huge. One can get drowned in an ocean and die, but nobody will get drowned in a bucket of water and die. Okay, so Vyashti, one bucket of water. Samashti, the huge entire water in the ocean of this planet Earth. Okay. First one, sun. Second one, ocean of water. Third one, we come to the reflection. Okay, so here second is the entire ocean, third is the water. Instead of bucket, it is the entire ocean. Third is the water, and fourth one is the reflection. Now that same sun reflects on this ocean from which you picked up a bucket of water. So we now understood what is the difference in terms of the volume of water. On one hand we have a bucket of water, which is the Jiva. On the other hand we have an ocean of water, which is the Eshwara. Reflection in the bucket of water denotes the Jiva Bhava. Reflection of the same sun in the ocean denotes Eshwara. So the sun with respect to the bucket of water and that Jiva is called Atman. Now here we are using terminologies for progressing on this. So the sun which is reflecting on the bucket of water and the Jiva is known as Atman. And the same sun with respect to the ocean and Eshwara is called Brahman, also called as Paramatma, for our easier understanding, Brahman or Paramatma. So that sun, when it is reflected on the Jiva, we say Atman. So we say no, Atma, my Atma. So that same sun which is reflecting in the ocean, which is in the Eshwara, it is known as Brahman, Paramatma. Now, is Atman and Brahman one or different? Think logically. Is Atman and Brahman, that sun which is reflecting in a bucket of water, that sun which is reflecting in the ocean, reflection in the bucket, Atman, reflection in Eshwara is called Brahman. Is it one or different? It is same, because it is that same sun which is reflecting in these two different areas, but the name is different. Like the same person at home is called differently and in the office is called differently. Now when you say that X who is called at home is, let's say, is called Y in the office, is X and Y different person? No, he is the same person. So that same consciousness, Parabrahma, when reflected in a Jiva is known as Atman, and when reflected in Eshwara, who is the Lord of the entire universe in terms of creation. When it is reflected in the Eshwara, it is known as Brahman. So both are one and the same. It is that same consciousness. Jiva is different from Eshwara because with respect to bucket of water is a part of ocean. I as a Jiva, I am different from Eshwara. Ask yourself this question. Am I different from Eshwara? How can a bucket of water, which is a part of ocean, be different from the ocean? It is only that ocean is samashti, a whole, and I am a part, a bucket of water from the ocean is veshti, which is me as a jiva. Ocean is resting on this earth, and the bucket also comes from the earth. So bucket is also a part of earth, because both take their shape, or they rest, or they come into existence because of the earth. So from the standpoint of the Stula Sharira, Samashti and Veshti both come from the earth. And from the Samashti, now let's talk of Stula. After Stula we come to Sukshma. When it comes to the mind, this water which is in ocean comes, this is, there again you have water, and in the small bucket of water also you have got water. Only the quantum changes. Here also in a jiva, because of the mind there is a reflection, and there also in an ocean there is a reflection. In Eshwara, he also has got a mind, Hiranyagarbha. There also there is a reflection. So from the point of view of Sthula and Sukshma, in both the places you have a reflection. So everything of the Jiva, Veshti, is a part of the Eshwara who is Samashti in terms of creation. This is clear? We as a Jiva, every individual Jiva, we are a part of that creator of this entire Brahmanda. We have taken a portion of him, and we are a small part of him. Just like we take a bucket of water from the ocean. So even the reflection of Jiva is a part of the reflection of Eshwara. A big reflection in the ocean, a small reflection of the sun in the bucket. That's the only difference. Because of the huge volume of water, you can see a huge reflection of the sun. Because of the small volume of water, like in a bubble also you see a reflection, isn't it? When there is a nice bubble on water, or even on a drop of water, you can see that fine spark of that sun. The smaller the quantum, the smaller is the reflection. So that, now we talk of the essence. We are talking, it is both the reflections are happening only because of that sun up there, that Parabrahma who is there. Now what Bhagavan Shankaracharya is saying here is, the truth of Eshwara and the truth of the Jiva is one and the same. Aham Brahma Asmi. Because it is a reflection of the same sun, be it in Eshwara or be it in the Jiva. It is the same consciousness. The truth of the both. What is the truth of the reflection in Eshwara? The sun. What is the truth of the Jiva? It is again the sun, which is none other than consciousness. If I have to give a little, explain to you differently. Now I know we will get questions like, what is this? How can me and Eshwara be the same? Now that is going to be addressed in the next section, Tattvamasi. With that Mahavakya, Bhagavan Shankaracharya is going to explain to us. We are going to cover each and everything. We are not going to leave this. It is now unfolding. More and more layers are going to come. understand this properly. This is the essence of Vedanta. If we have got this, moksha is in your pocket. The more and more you study about this, the more and more you realize this. Make it a part of your mind. Remove the default setting. This is the essence. In every aspect of Vedanta, whichever Upanishad, whichever Bhagavad Gita, whichever Prakarana Grantha you take, this essence is going to come. Now, although Bhagavan Shankaracharya has given us this one metaphor, what I'll do is, I will still be taking several other metaphors and giving you the crux. Nothing to worry on that. Yeah, okay. Now, if I have to explain this, like if somebody says, okay, now you have State Bank of India, the largest bank in our country. I am a customer of State Bank of India. You are also a customer. Now we have also Reliance, Tatas, Birlas, who are all customers of State Bank of India. Now if I say, I or you, we are all equal to Reliance or Tatas or Birlas, immediately you will say, how can it happen? What am I, how much money I operate and how much money I have in my account, and what is the amount of balance Reliance or Tatas or Birlas have with the State Bank of India? At that level you see there is a big difference. But if you go to the level of, I am a customer of State Bank of India, even Reliance, Tatas and Birlas are customer of State Bank of India. From the point of view of being a customer, we both are one and the same. So in the same way, here we are talking about whatever money is coming to us is coming from the bank. Our operations are with the bank. We may differ in size, but our relationship with the bank is customer and bank relationship. So in this way, what we need to understand here is, in truth, the consciousness which comes to Eshwara or the consciousness which comes to the Jiva, both of us are getting this from that one and only Parabrahman, as the reflections come from one and only Sun. This much we'll understand today, and the rest we'll take in the next class. Because this is too heavy, we have to go slowly on this and come to a fine understanding. Just get this example, and now we will be seeing the unification of all three: Jiva, Eshwara and the Parabrahma. At the truth part, the essence part. So how they bring this understanding is what we need to get clarity about that understanding. Okay. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. We offer today's Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Almighty to seek His grace, blessings and mercy. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Namama. Om Tat Sat. Thank you everybody for being a part of this wonderful journey. We meet again on coming Tuesday. Till then, please keep your sadhana in full force, intact, and I would advise all of you to listen to this couple of times and be ready for the next class so that which is on coming Friday, where you are able to grasp much better. Okay, this is the foundation. So have a complete, thorough knowledge of that. Hari Om.